So you want to know how to do cross and bite splits? I got you. Welcome to another tutorial by me, Sam Lane, otherwise known as Metal and Tricks. You can find me on Instagram at the link provided. Now, obviously, we're having a look at bite and cross splits today. I've put these two together in the same tutorial because realistically, they're pretty much the same thing. When it comes to doing cross splits, the only real difference between that and a bite is that you're going to turn your head a little bit so that your O, when it splits, is going to go like this. You see? Like that, there's your cross split. It's pretty much the same thing as a bite. But first, of course, we'll look at the bite split, and then we'll move into the cross split variation of it. First things first, the bite split itself. Now, you can single lyph, you can double lyph, you can sip and lyph, or you can do a bite split without any of those things. It's just a little bit harder. The main thing is that you get the O to stretch horizontally like that so that you can bite it easily and get it to split like that, right? The easiest way is probably to do it with a double lyph bend. Now, the lyph bend itself is honestly almost a whole other video to a degree because there's some subtlety. There's some subtlety to the lyph bend technique. But what I'll do now is give you, I guess, the short version, and that is you want your lyph to look like this, with this part of your hand being a fulcrum point, so you're kind of like pulling the O apart before you actually do any kind of hand dragging. And I do see a lot of people, doing the lyph bend, I really don't want to say wrong, but just inefficiently. And it just makes it harder, you know? So if you ever see people doing like this motion, just up and down, no hands turning at all, it's not that it's like again, it's not wrong, it's just harder. And honestly, I don't think it looks as good either, but that's probably a personal thing. But let's say, for argument's sake, that you have a decent lyph bend. You want to learn how to do the bite split and the cross split. So we're going to start with the double lyph. You're going to just double lyph it. By the time you've done this, it should be able to get a pretty good stretch going, and then you bite it like that. The bite itself, the term is relatively literal. Of course, you're not going to actually bite into it with your teeth. It's not food, guys. You know, don't try and eat it. Fuck. But it is still pretty much a bite in the sense that when you get the O to this point, you're going to do a little bit of an inhale and then cut it off quickly. I like to cut it off quickly with my lips, and that is definitely the easiest way. That's why it's called a bite split. However, realistically, the key there is that the inhale gets cut off quickly. So assuming that you've got your double lyph bend, you've got your O to stretch and bounce, that should be relatively easy. It might not come off super clean at first, but practice it to the point that it does come off really clean, because this is one of those tricks that once you get it going, you should be able to do it in most tries. From there, obviously, if you've got your lyph bend pretty good, then you can just single lyph, bite in the middle, it'll split off. If your sips are good, basically, it's just going to pull up like this. When it bounces down, bite it again. But that's really all there is to it when it comes to the bite split. Exactly which variation you want to do, or if you want to learn all of them, it's totally up to you. Moving on now to the cross split, it's kind of the same thing, but you're going to turn your head a little bit so that when you bite it in the middle, the O is going to twist a little bit like this, like that, and then the O's will fly off separately like this. I would recommend honestly learning this first with a single lyph. and then you just turn your head. So you got your O like this. You're gonna single life it, and then bite it in the middle. Turn your head. And the thing I like about doing with two hands, even though it's easier to do it with two hands than it is to go one hand life, bite it on the side. After you've bit it for the cross split, you got your thing like this. You got your hands like this. When you're bringing your hands back, you can use your hands to push the two O's a little bit more. And I just like the way it looks. I think it's cool, you know? But once you've got that, it's not too much of a further step to get to that single hand variation of the cross split. You should be able to do it both hands. It's really just single hand like this. Say your O is here, you've got your single hand like here. Pull like this, pull it down a little bit more, but this is the main part of this. And what that'll do, of course, is that'll get your O to twist a little bit, like this. And then you're just gonna bite it right when it starts to bend and stretch. The exact same as a bite split, like what we were saying before. By the time these sides of the O and it's kind of stretched out, and these top and bottom parts of the O have come a little bit closer together, it's just that little quick cut off inhale that'll get it done. Now that brings us to the cross tie, which is kind of in the same family of tricks. It still involves a bite and a cross, but it's a little bit different in the way you do it. I'm not super great at cross ties, but I know enough about them to teach you that it involves a life bend, just like the previous tricks. This is going to be the easiest way to do it. And then realistically, you just want to kind of pivot. So you've got your O here, you're going to bite it in the middle, and then you're going to turn like this, right? So when you turn like this O is going to stay attached to your mouth. Trying to shark bend off here, while there's this O is going to split off straight away, like that. So this O is going like this, and this O is going to go like that. And that's how you get a cross tie. It's, you got your O here, and it's like that. I hope this tutorial helped you. If you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments. If you have any requests for different tutorials, of course, same thing, let me know in the comments. If you want to like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. If you don't, that's cool. And you can check me out on Instagram at Metal and Tricks. Right here. Have a good one, guys.